Hello, scientists. Happy Thursday. How are you all today? Qué bueno. It sounds like we're doing really well. Can you believe our week is almost over? Me neither. And there's still so much to do and so little time. So I guess we shouldn't waste it then. Today, we're going to learn about an important scientist from the past to help us answer our question, who can be a scientist? There is a school in the Bayview named after this scientist, and yesterday I gave everybody the clue, peanuts. Was anybody able to guess what scientist we will be learning about today? Bravo! Some of you did know. For those that don't, we will be learning about George Washington Carver. He is a scientist from the past that made a lot of change for a lot of people. And we're going to learn some facts about him, and we're also going to see if he does the things that we described in all of our charts. Well, vamos, let's get started. So, who was the scientist George Washington Carver? Well, we know he was a scientist, but he also made a lot of change for others, and through that helped a lot of people. So we're going to learn some more. He was born in Missouri in the 1860s. Do any of you remember when we talked about equality and equity last season? Well, the differences are people getting the same things and then people getting what they need. In the time that he was born, neither equality nor equity were present for African Americans and other groups of people. He wasn't allowed to attend public schools and had to go out of his way to go to schools for Black students. Some things had changed since he had been born, but it was still a time of inequality and inequity. George Washington Carver really seemed to love learning. I also learned that when he was young, he was interested in plants and was even called the plant doctor because he worked so well with them. Sounds like somebody who had a lot of questions about plants. A young scientist. Well, when he got older, he went to several colleges and eventually got his bachelor's degree from Iowa State Agricultural School in 1894. Now that is an amazing accomplishment. Not only is he accomplished for being a college graduate, but he was also the first African American with a bachelor's degree. I think that is really inspiring. So, what did he do with all these accomplishments? He used them to help others. He noticed the problem that many Southern farmers were having. Many of them couldn't make money when cotton was out of season because it ruined the soil. He must have asked himself a question like, what can be done to repair the soil? Because he discovered some things that really help people change their lives. He did many experiments, and through his research, he found that after growing cotton, farmers should grow peanuts, sweet potatoes, and soybeans. Hey, that's where my clue came in handy. He discovered that by doing this crop rotation, farmers didn't have as many problems growing cotton and were able to make more consistent money. It was so successful that he made a wagon that he would ride from town to town to teach his methods to different farmers. What a kind scientist. Speaking of which, I hope you were thinking about what makes George Washington Carver a scientist while we learned about him. I noticed that he didn't do all the things on our chart, but he did some. Like, he asked questions, he did experiments, and I also wanted to add something to our chart that he did. I really liked and am inspired by him being a scientist that shared what he learned with others. His discoveries help people change their lives. So I'm going to add that to help answer our question of who could be a scientist. I'm going to write, scientists help people. What do scientists do? Learning about this scientist helped us learn something new about them. Not only do scientists ask questions and experiment, they also help others by doing their science and making discoveries. Ooh, that makes me really proud that I have some scientist traits. Well, my scientists, we will have to conclude our scientific learning for today, but I hope you learned more about scientists and also about George Washington Carver. Tomorrow, we're going to put everything we learned from this week together to see if we can answer our question, who can be a scientist? Please enjoy the rest of the show today, and I can't wait to see you tomorrow.